All right, let's talk about the coolest hunting app in the world. It's called HuntLeague, and it works as a digital field journal capturing the story of your hunt with pictures, video, audio, and notes, along with timestamps and location information. There has never been an easier way for you to share the story of your hunt with your hunting buddies. HuntLeague uses the journaling aspect of the app as the foundation for a point system and leaderboard, which opens the door for hunters to connect and compete in leagues. Now, leagues can be species or method of take specific, public or private, just for a small group of friends, similar to fantasy football, or for large groups of people. HuntLeague hosts several leagues, such as the Outdoorsman of the Year, the Apex Predator, the Western Hunter, Spring Turkey, and the Sweet September League. We have HuntLeague members that have created leagues such as Chasing Roosevelt's and the On Point Experience, where one lucky hunter inside the app won a monster prize package that included a filmed bear hunt with Huxworks, Vortex Optics, and Bear Hunting Magazine. Now, we get lots of questions about how league winners are selected, so I wanted to give you a little insight into the process. Every league is a little different, but the foundation of them all is using the app and logging your experiences related to hunting, scouting, training, cooking, shooting, or anything related to the hunt. Our leagues are not trophy contests based on the size of an animal or the number of animals harvested. They are story-based leagues that involve everything that goes into a season. You don't have to be a professional hunter or spend 200 days in the field to qualify. Simply participate in the community, share stories from your season, including the mistakes made and the days spent without even seeing an animal. So the first step to winning a league is simply joining. Inside the HuntLeague app, go to the leagues page and select the Join tab. Find a league or even several leagues that you want to participate in and simply click the Join button. Now, some leagues, such as the Blood Ties or Triple Crown leagues, they require a team to participate, so you may need to invite family members or some of your hunting buddies to join you in those leagues. Now, each league is scored a little bit different, but they will say what counts in the league, so you have a basic idea of what is scored inside the league. You can check your rank throughout the season by going to the HuntLeague leaderboard and filtering it for that specific league. At the end of a season, league members are invited to fill out an application form. In most leagues, a small group of judges will then look over those applications and select a few finalists. Those finalists will then have the opportunity to share their story with a judges panel who will ultimately select the winner. Now that you have a little insight into the process, I want to bring you inside the Sweet September League Finals. This league is just for archery elk hunters, and this year we have 3 finalists competing for the first ever Sweet September title. You'll find these finalists each had unique stories, and they didn't arrive as finalists because they shot the largest animal. If that were the case, we may be seeing Garrett Weaver back in the mix after shooting a giant Roosevelt bull on the Oregon coast. And it wasn't about who killed their bull the fastest. As my brother-in-law, he was able to harvest his first bull within the first few minutes of the hunt. After 1 bugle and 3 cow calls, he had a bull standing in front of him at 23 yards. So let me introduce you to this year's finalists. We have James from Oregon, who pushed hard for 20 days straight. He's a blue-collar guy that went to work at 4 a.m. all season so that he could leave early and hit the woods every evening and weekend for 20 days straight. After facing heartbreak on day 12, arrowing a bull, but not getting a lethal shot, he stayed with it and finally connected. His perseverance, grit, and determination landed him a spot as one of this year's finalists. Then we have Josh from Idaho. He's relatively new to the HuntLeague app and jumped in at the very end of the season. He and 3 other buddies went to Wyoming for a 16-day elk hunt filled with tons of ups and downs, where they adapted to hunting pressure and were able to walk away with 2 filled tags. Josh arrowed a bull midway into the trip, but knew it wasn't a great hit. 4 days later, though, he encountered the same bull chasing 2 cows, and this time he didn't miss the opportunity, and he was able to harvest the same bull. What a cool and unusual story, and for that, Josh found himself as a 2023 finalist. Our third and final finalist is Mr. Wally King from Colorado. The HuntLeague community was introduced to Wally earlier in the year as he was one of the finalists for our Western Hunter League. Now, Wally faced some real adversity and found himself sick and having to return home on opening day, even though he had located and patterned a bull. He was discouraged, but determined to try and get back out there, and he knew he had limited time and responsibilities at both work and home. After a few days, he was able to return to the field and pick up right where he left off, arrowing a giant cow elk that he affectionately refers to as Lizzo. Now, Wally's preseason work, conservation efforts, and commitment to using every part of the animal landed him as a top spot as a finalist in the Sweet September League. So now that the finalists have been selected, it's time for them to sit in front of the judges panel. Our judges panel is often made up of past league winners or individuals from the various sponsor companies participating in the league. For the Sweet September League, we asked Grady from Loa Boots, Tom, the owner of Mile High Note Game Calls, and Brandon, the president of AccuFire, to read each of the finalists' applications, listen to the HuntLeague podcast where each of them shared their stories, and to spend 15 minutes with each finalist asking them questions about their season, preparation, gear, conservation efforts, and more in order to ultimately select the league winner. Now that you understand a little bit more of the process, I want to invite you into the judges panel where you can watch some of the action unfold for yourself. You're getting a limited view right now of each of the finalists, but I challenge you to go back and listen to their podcast. Listen to the answers that they give the judges. Who would you pick? It's always tough selecting between such great hunters and individuals that represent the sport so well. So without any further introduction, here is an inside look at the 2023 Sweet September finalists as they go before the judges panel.
AccuFire, we are a technology-based company, right? We're technology first in a lot of things we do in the scopes and also in our products. So is there any tools or technology or even just gear that you used this year to kind of give you an advantage?
As far as technology go, running like trail cameras.
You know, I really got to attribute it to a good pair of binos with a rangefinder and a ballistic solver built in.
I got a new bow this year, and I could talk all day about that. But really, I think the main piece of that equipment was my broadheads. I have the iron will. Those broadheads just penetrated so well.
I do a lot of like e-scouting.
I do have range finding binoculars, and those are clutch. I use the Leica 3200.com.
Nice.
I have the Sig Kilo 3200 BDX.
I rock the Vortex spot and scope and binos.
I've looked into the AccuFire a little bit just recently, as in getting into HuntLeague and checking out this competition. And it definitely looks like something I'd be interested in. Would shave some pounds when it comes to packing that giant spotting scope in and then having to have a separate attachment to hook my phone up to.
What's your favorite thing about bow hunting?
My favorite thing about bow hunting is getting out there away from people. There's nothing like going like several miles out there and running into people.
The dedication and challenge of it all.
In order to harvest a bull, you have to be close.
I love the opportunity that we get while elk hunting to have them come in close.
Screaming bulls. To me, that's just what makes it stand out above everything else.
There's something much more natural about it for me, being in the pursuit of the animal as opposed to waiting for an animal to make a mistake or waiting for someone to push an animal towards you. You're actually out there trying to call them in.
The struggle of it, it's not easy. So when you finally do harvest one, the accomplishment, you get that level of satisfaction from getting it done.
I love the aspect of being able to find relaxation and accomplishment in going out and putting those reps in with a bow.
How often do you find yourself going out in the backcountry?
Almost all of it. The only time I use the roads is to park the truck, and I have started sleeping on the roads, but I've got a four-wheel drive that goes pretty much anywhere. And
most of the area I end up hunting has a lot of road systems in it, so I don't do a lot of backcountry. There is a lot of deep canyons and areas that are roadless, and I try to target those quite a bit because you'll end up with less people, less pressure, and just in general, kind of bigger animals.
How many miles are you covering each day in the backcountry?
I'd say our longest day was probably 17-ish miles, and our shortest day was probably 3.
I usually do, when I'm pursuing elk, around 10 miles a day.
I'd average 4 to 6 miles.
And you must be a robot, because that was inspirational how much ground you were covering that many days in a row.
It definitely was taxing on just the physical and mental state at some points. But I had set a goal. I really wanted to harvest a bull with my bow again. It had been a couple years. I had to do tough things to get it done.
We get after it pretty good. The group that I hunt with, we're all pretty capable, and we put a lot of time in the off season preparing.
But when you're covering that much distance, what do you think the most important piece of gear you have is?
I'm not just saying this because I think you're from Loa, but my boots and my custom orthotics, man. I seriously could only go, I would say, like 3 miles before getting that stuff dialed before my feet would turn purple.
I mean, obviously your hunt started off kind of rough, right? With just getting sick and hurting your back. Was there any point during the hunt you decided you thought about, I'm just going home. I'm gonna pack it in?
I did. I called it on day one, man, and that was the hardest thing because I had a bull patterned. Saw him out there the night before, and it's the same bull I called in the morning, and I knew where he was going at night, or at least usually going at night. And I was all set up, and wind was right, everything was perfect, and I had the chills. I had to call it. So I did go home, and I spent probably 4 or 5 days recovering, and then a few days getting everything ready and the family ready and all that stuff before heading back out again.
No, if anything, I'd still be out there right now hunting. I just live and breathe it. I would love to make a profession out of it, but also I know that making a profession out of it kind of could potentially take the passion I have for it away. So I'm just really appreciative for my situation and being able to hunt 16 days and get after it when I can.
Yeah, we have no idea what you're talking about, man. You went 20 days at this, right? All of us at some point have put in work for an animal, and at some point, like, man, I don't know if this meat's worth it.
There was about 2 weeks into season, I did stick a bull in the shoulder, and I looked for him, and I ended up seeing him later on in the season. He ended up being fine, but there was definitely a time in there where I was like, man, like, that was my good opportunity for the season. Like, this might not happen. Is it worth pounding and hitting it hard still? But like I said, in the end, it just kind of came down to I really, really wanted it, and it ended up working out. You can put in a lot of work, and sometimes the cards don't fall in your hands. But luckily, I was able to get another opportunity and get it done.
How do you support bow hunting and the wildlife that you hunt?
Yeah, I'm a member of Foundation for Wildlife Management here in Idaho, and I participate in predator management.
I'm not part of any organizations. I have thought about joining some. You donate to some of these organizations, and I'm not sure where my money's going. If it's actually helping, you can donate money and do stuff, but getting people involved and getting people to learn about this stuff, I think in the end will help conserve the animals that we enjoy and get to hunt.
Well, I'm a member of RMEF, and I did a conservation restoration project with them this year, pulling a bunch of fence line out. I just feel like I'm a good steward of the forest. Anytime I see crap out there, I'm cleaning it up. I've stopped potentially a few forest fires from starting by putting out people's unfinished fires and things like that. And it's really the least I can do. I think if every hunter did it, we'd have better success, and we'd have more access to the public lands.
Predators are a big thing here. Our bear population and cougar population is crazy. So predator hunting as much as I can.
I also think it's important to be vocal about talking about it. And, we might have, as a community, been able to have prevented the wolf reintroduction. I did not think that was going to pass. It just blew me away. And, we all got caught off guard by that one.
Managing wildlife through the ballot is really bad news.
And then also just trying to, educate people, whether it be coworkers or friends, about hunting in general, and trying to help new hunters out as much as possible.
Josh, it seems like you have a pretty good group of guys. How often do y'all take someone new out with y'all too for their first time in the backcountry?
I'd say 1 to 3 guys per season. And I'll also add to that we don't typically take guys on our newer hunts. Like when we went to Wyoming this year, we didn't take any new hunting guys with us. We hadn't hunted with the other two as a group together, but we knew of their hunting style and it being similar to ours. But when it comes to taking out new people, we try and take them on hunts that we have more experience with, that might be more conducive to teaching and or providing them with an opportunity at a harvest. But I mean, I had a high school buddy come and join me for 9 days for spring bear this year, where I got a bear and a wolf, and he wasn't able to harvest during spring bear, but he actually came up for fall bear, and I got him on a cougar, and he was able to get his first big game kill as a cougar.
And so we know one of the big things, especially about HuntLeague and what Jared's really trying to push is, getting more people in the field. How many new hunters do you try to get out a year?
So I don't know. I'd say probably 2 or 3, I guess. Well, my son has been my big motivation. Him and a couple friends of mine that have kids. I got my buddy's best friend in an archery league last year with us. Anyone that I can get into it, I'm getting into it.
I just really love introducing new people into hunting, supporting new hunters and taking them out with me.
Hey, James, who's your favorite hunting partner and why?
I've got a great group of guys that I hunt with.
I'll let you off the hook. What makes them a great group of guys?
Well, we're all like-minded, and we would love to see the other person succeed and kill a bull just as much as we would like to kill a bull. So there's no competition. It's not who can get drawn on a bull first. Most of the time we're just as happy to be calling as we are to be the one, being that full draw. Elk are big animals, so when you get one down, you give everybody a call and everyone's dropping what they're doing and coming and helping you pack that animal out.
Don't you have a mule deer to go pack out right now?
Blacktail buck. They're I think 2 miles in somewhere, and he's like, hey, if you can meet us up here, we're walking in the dark right now, so I'm gonna go help them.
What makes a good hunting partner for you?
One that's willing to hear a bull bugle 3 ridges across and look at each other and get that smile on our faces and say, well, I guess we're going to go get it. Just having somebody that's got that positive mentality, that's willing to just get after it with you, and roll with the punches. I mean, there's so much unpredictability when it comes to hunting. Animals have a mind of their own, obviously, and every situation and encounter is different. So if you mess one situation up, taking the lessons learned from that and applying it to the next time.
What are some of the qualities that you look for in a really good hunting partner?
Man, I think a lot of it comes down to a fit, like, can they tolerate me for a whole week or so out there? That and cooperation, like I've had great hunting partners that I still have, and I've had some that are no longer hunting partners. And part of that, one of them was just not committed on the physical fitness side, although everything else about that guy was great. But at one point he just told me, you guys go on and go without me. We just had different hunting styles. I dived full in on the physical side, and we still do some casual hunting together, he and I. And then I had another buddy that was really into it, but there was a level of selfishness that I just couldn't deal with. And maybe he saw that in me too. I don't know if we were just butting heads, but it just didn't work. So the best ones I've found, we're both selfless. We both trying to help each other. And then, we can, if the person is kind of like someone you could say anything to and it doesn't ruin your day, like a brother or something, that's what you got to look for. So about to go head out with one of my best friends for 4 days for whitetail in Texas here. So, and he's a great hunting partner.
So now that you have that bull and you've processed it up, what's your go-to recipe for the meat?
I'm a big smoker. We Traeger probably 6 out of the 7 days of the week. I don't know, maybe 4 on a low week, but we've got this special seasoning that we order out of Canada that my father-in-law introduced us to, and we put it on everything.
It's hard to beat a Traeger smoked elk backstrap.
I changed it up quite a bit because there's a lot, man. I just had wok seared bulgogi, like a Korean barbecue kind of seasoning I make. I think my all-time favorite is just cooking it over wood fire, though. And then I process everything, man. I process everything myself and cut the bones open and roast and eat the marrow with my family. And then we boil the bones down in the pressure cooker and make, I think last year we had about 200 pints of bone broth. The bone broth is the gold, man. Yeah, it's good for your joints, good for your hair. I don't know. I think of it like poor man's stem cells, you know? You know what else is amazing is the tongues. I don't know if you've ever been to a taco stand and had tacos de lengua, but it's about the most tender, moist meat you can imagine. And you just slow cook that like a braise with jalapenos and cilantro and onions and put it in your tacos.
I'm in Texas, man. I have lengua tacos all the time. They're fantastic.
Oh, you know what I'm saying.
I just want to say thank you guys, and I'm glad to share a passion with such a great group of guys. Thank you.
I just appreciate your guys' time and what you guys are all doing. I'm a carpenter and I love what I do, but I'm what would I say? I guess I live vicariously through the lives of people who are in the hunting industry. Thank you guys for keeping the sport alive and keeping the Second Amendment. We're so fortunate to have all these privileges, and it's because of guys like you. So thank you.
As you can see, Grady, Tom, and Brandon asked meaningful questions and took the time to listen to each individual story. The sponsor companies that are participating in HuntLeague are not just giving out prizes, but they care about the hunting community. They want to hear real stories from the field, and they are excited to celebrate the accomplishments of hunters. I'm incredibly grateful for their participation in this judges panel. But that is the same for dozens of other companies, such as Seekins Precision, Scree, Argali, Remington Ammunition, Bergara, Stag Arms, Burris Optics, EAA, Arkin Optics, Wuru Wool, and many, many others. Tomorrow night, November 14th at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, we will be hosting a live event where we announce the winner of the Sweet September League, as well as introduce you to a new league that I am so excited about that was created by one of our own HuntLeague members. He took the initiative to reach out to several companies, and we are gearing up to launch something really, really special tomorrow night that brings you from the field to the table. So join us live if you can, and be sure to congratulate the league winner and check out this new league that launches tomorrow night. Thanks for watching, and if you don't have the HuntLeague app yet, don't delay. Download it for free in the App Store or Google Play Store today.